So it's beautiful to come back again and have this conversation. So we started this conversation in the book of Hebrews chapter 1 and chapter 2. Introduction, chapter 1, it tells us who Jesus is, tells us that Jesus is the creator of the world. And then chapter 2, it brings us to a very closer thing, because chapter 1 talks about Jesus being greater than the angels. It makes us understand in chapter 1 that he makes his angels ministering spirits, and he makes his messengers flame of fire. And what this means is that the angels are sent to assist you, to assist me, and also to assist us in carrying out the will and the counsel of God. The angels will not do things against the will of God. So for people that think that the angel, they will send the angel to go and fight their friends that kind of offend them, you are joking, you are joking. The angel will not do such work. They will only do the message of the Father that is in your mouth. And that is why it's very important that you get the will of God for your life. Once somebody discovers the will of God, if I know that God will for me is to become a doctor, I could deploy the angels that, okay, in my study of medicine, there are certain things that I need. The angels could be quick messenger to quicken me, to quicken those journey. There are things that they can go ahead of me to do. There are things that they can do even in the place of the spirit. So sometimes I'm in the theater room operating on somebody. I could use the assistance of the angels. Oh, please send, as I command the demons to leave. Because when you command demons to leave, demons don't just leave. There is a spiritual warfare that is what you are doing, is that you are calling on angels to send them away. And that's why Jesus was saying, he said, listen, if I called an army now, my Father will send me a host of angels that will come and fight. So again, what we are saying is that Jesus is greater than angels. On no account should you elevate angels higher than Jesus. They are sent as messengers to carry out God's will. And today we'll start with chapter 3. So I want you to start with chapter 3.
Okay, so we are going further and it's getting more interesting, because just as chapter 1 has established that Jesus is greater than the angels, and we know some of us tend to see certain messengers or men of God now in the context of what they were familiar with, them prophets. So some of them, because these are the people that are physically seen, that they relate with every day. Let's say, oh, is there anybody that can become greater than Moses, that can become greater than Samuel? And if we are not careful, we're already falling into that with some of the things we see, idolizing men. And this is what chapter 3 is telling us, that no man, irrespective of what God is doing through them, should be elevated above God himself. Jesus is superior, knowing fully well that we all are sons. We are joint heirs with Christ Jesus. Okay, so let me just take a verse of the Bible. I'm just trying to summarize what chapter 3 is trying to say. So, but I'll pick a verse so that we can align ourselves with that. It said, okay, verse 4 of chapter 3 says, for every house is builded by some men, but he that build all things is God. So, he that created that pastor, that man of God that you see, these ones, they have gone. No. Are we saying people should not be honored? No. We should honor ourselves. We should respect ourselves and commend the grace of God in our life. But we should not idolize anybody, knowing fully well that God created all things. God created us all. Because by idolizing people, you tend to see that you start demeaning some people. Every human being deserves respect.
So every human being deserves respect. So if you want to know, what prophet are we talking about? We're talking about Moses. Because if you look at chapter 3, start with, wherefore, holy brethren, partakers of the heavenly calling, consider the apostle and high priest of our calling, of our profession, that is Jesus Christ, who was faithful to him that appointed him, as also Moses was faithful in all of his house. And then we understand that Moses was faithful as a servant in the house. It's just like you build a house, you build a big mansion. You put a servant in a big mansion that, oh, be my caretaker, take care of this building, take care of everything for me, ensure that the tenant will do what he needs to do, the house is properly maintained from time to time. That was how Moses was. But at no point in time the caretaker becomes the owner. No. The caretaker can never become the owner. The son of the owner, when he grows up, he will inherit the property. The caretaker can continue to become the caretaker, or may decide to build his own house. But in this case, there's only one builder, and God is the builder. Now we saw something very interesting, because chapter 3 is telling us about the place of the house, the place of rest, and the place of belief. It's telling us the place of the house. Who is the house? Who is the rest? And what does our belief come into? So if you look at it, it said, verse 9 will tell you that when your fathers tempted me, proved me, and saw my works 40 years, wherefore I was grieved with that generation. And so the whole story refers back to the children of Israel when they left Egypt, and then God promised them, I'm taking you to a land that I have promised you, a land flowing with milk and honey. And everybody was anticipating, let's get to this promised land. And just like she said, we are not different this day. God has given us so many numerous promises, but sometimes the one that God spoke through, we start honoring the one that God spoke through even more than the God that spoke through the one. So a pastor tells you, or a man of God tells you that, see, I see your future is bright, true. I see your future, you are going to become a kingdom financier, good. I see your future, you are going to become a very serious politician that will change the trajectory of this state, this local government, this nation, great. At no point in time must you exalt that minister of God more than the mandate that God has revealed to him and to you. God must be honored in all. So the reason why most of us don't enter into this place that God wants us, because this rest is not even the place per se. It's not even the Canaan land. It's not even that vision that you want to become. This rest is the presence of God. So the children of Israel, they were anticipating, let's go to Canaan land. And so when some of them, they even get to Canaan. Oh, so this is Canaan. They were never into the rest. Okay, maybe let us hear.
Okay, rest is fine. But the journey into the rest is something we must be very conscious of.
Yeah.
God is interested in the character we put up. Is interested with how we relate rather, and the condition of our hearts while we journey into that rest. Fine, He promised us the rest, but in the journey into the rest, for us to effectively use that rest, for us to to enjoy that rest, there might be need for us to change certain character. And that was what was going on with the Israelites in the journey. There were the mentality of they have adopted in Egypt that God does not want them to carry into the promised land, into the rest that He has promised them. So their journey into that rest, a lot of things were happening, but they were not conscious of the fact that God is using all of this to prepare them for that rest. Because if the mentality of Egypt, if it is what they carried into the rest, they would have a land flowing with milk and honey can become a land flowing with evil and negativity. Not because of the land was naturally evil and negative, but by the virtue of the people that live in that land. So it is beyond the rest that God is taking us into. It is we preparing our mindset, preparing to be in alignment with that rest, that when the rest come, the testimony you once prayed for, the growth you really long for will not become a trap for you.
All right, and that is it. The growth you really pray for will not become a trap for you, because they pray for freedom.
Yeah.
One of their prayer was that, in Exodus, the Bible says their cry has come up to God, and God decided to call Moses to come and set these people free. Now, this cry for freedom, and the freedom has come. The freedom has come. So if you pick at verse 13, it says, but exhort one another daily while it is called today, lest any of you be adding to the deceitfulness of sin. And that is what she was saying, that in this journey, as you are going through this journey, the destination is not as important as the person you become while you are going through this journey. The process, what does the process make out of you? What character does it build out of you? What character does it take away from you? I was listening to a post by one of my friends this morning, and somebody said, I pray. God did not answer me with the answers of prayer. That nothing, there was no answer, but certain things were living my life. Greed was living my life, hatred was living my life, bitterness was living my life, pride was living my life, and it means God has answered my prayers. Because it's not even the addition, sometimes it's the subtraction. And sometimes God will take us to certain journey in life to take away certain things, and those things, they are things that they are automatically subtraction in our life, and that the deceitfulness of sin. And then it went further to talk about why it is there. Okay, if ye we hear His voice, harden not your heart as in the day of provocation. For some, when they had did provoke, albeit not all that came out of Egypt by Moses. So there's a place of hardening. We get to a point that sometimes you can be frustrated by your challenges, and then you just say, oh, all these things we've heard about it. I don't know whether you are that person that you have believed God for so long, and then it's looking like 40 years. 40 days is looking like 40 years. And then your heart is already added that we cannot get it, and then you start asking for peripherals. Let your eye be on the goal. If God has taken you from here and told you that I'm taking you there, be rest assured that you must believe Him through the process. Okay.
So the condition of our heart is very, very important. God is interested in our hearts, because even before you get to that rest, the condition of your heart is important. Your heart must have entered into that rest before you physically enter into it, because in your heart you begin to envision what God has set ahead of you. You begin to live the rest even before the physical manifestation of the rest come. You've conditioned your heart already, and everything around you, your thoughts and your mindset for rest. So when sometimes you will not even be aware that you have physically entered that rest, because you have begun to live the rest already in your mindset and in your heart. So when the physical manifestation comes, there is access is granted. not denied. But when you have not prepared your heart towards it, when the physical manifestation come, you may not be qualified by the condition of your heart and your mindset.
So there must be compatibility with where you want to go and where you are. Who you want to become must be compatible with where you want to go. It's just like a key. You are the key, because what you become is what will open you into the new phase that you are. And then we end chapter 3 with, so we see that they could not enter in because of unbelief. So the question is, what is your unbelief this morning? Remember, that rest is beyond what you want to become. Is beyond the materials you want to acquire. The rest is Christ himself, is entering into the presence of God. And the only way we access this rest is in the place of salvation, because when you have Christ, you understand that this journey is even greater than you. It's greater than this lifetime. It's a sprint or it's a relay. You pass the baton, you pass the baton, you pass the baton, and then you now know that the rest itself is God, staying in God. So this is what I want to call it a pause this morning. We continue again with chapter 4.
So looking forward to chapter 4. Kindly study ahead, and even this chapter 3 we just shared our own mind, our own thoughts with you. Please, we beg of you, go back, study. If there is any comment, you want to see it in the comments.
All right, thank you, and see you on Wednesday.
God bless.